Get that closed. Gotta get the game open. I don't know. How's it going, man? Mm-mm-mm. So what I want to do in this stream is talk about the Balance Council changes for just over 24 hours from now. And then once we decided on what we're going to do, we're going to choose that. And then we're going to move on, play some games for a little while, you know? Probably just some of my favorite decks that I've been playing lately. I'll revisit, play a few more games. And I have one more deck guide I'd like to be able to post before the changes take effect. So just under 24 hours. We have 22 hours left before the changes. And yeah, I'm going to try to get that deck guide posted tomorrow so that it's still playable. I don't know if a lot of the stuff in it's going to be impacted. So if anything, it'll be like a 1 or 2 card adjustment, but been meaning to do another Skellige deck before the season's over. And next season, I'm probably going to do more grinding. You could tell I haven't really done a whole lot this season. I've just kind of gotten a feel for the things. I would say that this has been my busiest season since I started getting back into it full-time kind of thing, and just actually grinding it, opening up the game every day. So with that being said, you know, we could push peaks a lot higher, but there's just no time for it. I didn't even finish placements. With a couple games there, we're looking okay. I only lost a game because I actually DC'd, So I'm technically still on peak. It's just literally my game closed. Streamlabs overwhelmed the computer. Everything just kind of... So whoever got the free win, congrats. And now, yeah, the rest has just been kind of me testing some things out. So next patch, a lot more grinding. I didn't abuse Nilfgaard. I didn't abuse Syndicate, you see? So with that being said, I've been thinking about a couple things that I want to do for the Balance Council change. So we'll call this a little huddle, little meeting. So if you guys want to participate in the chat, let me know what you think. And we'll go from there. So there are... Literally, this is my first time doing this, okay? So I'm thinking that the 3, 2, and 1 means order of priority. So we really want this one to go second and third. Now, there's so many cards in the game, but there are some that I feel, you know, could be better than others, worse than others. Let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna do a live stream for this one, just so that we can, you know, share the ideas in real time. And what I want to do... I'm just wondering why some of them are grayed out. Are they like non-negotiables? Oh, they're not applicable because they're not power affected. So if I choose this, for example, then they open up. Understood. Simple enough. If you guys are just rolling into the stream, make sure to drop those likes. The algorithm loves it. So do I. So let's keep the good times rolling. Now, simple enough. Power increase, power decrease. Provision increase, provision decrease. Order of priorities. There are a couple cards, for the most part bronze, that I'm going to be looking at right now. Yeah, that might just be one of them, actually. But more, this is almost like a personal one that I've been thinking about. If you guys remember back to, it's been almost a year at this point, I did my 3rd card reveal, and I'm grateful that I was given the opportunity to do it a 3rd time. However, I had to sort of bite my teeth a little bit, bite my tongue a little bit, we could say, and just kind of accept what I was given. Now, I'm talking about Qcento Deckhand. I think in theory, and before I even get into that, my first card reveal was Chameleon. My second card reveal was Sove. I had 2 beautiful card reveals that I'm so happy about. You know, 2 amazing cards. And then the last one was Qcento Deckhand, and it felt power crept on release. And I can't even find it right now. So 4 provision. I guess we have to look it up. So Qcento Deckhand was one of the ones where comes down. You remember my reveal with Soph? Yeah. Qcento Deckhand comes down 4 power, 4 provision, profit 1, vice 3, boost self by 1. So we're getting profit 1 and 4 base body. It comes down at 5 points with the intention to be an engine. And this card was the first card to use that vice keyword. And we all know that Vice had some pretty good cards overall. The Xura and the Qcento were very good, right? And then we had Deckhand, which I believe could use a little bit of support. Now, you can't lower the provision on a card that's 4 provision, so there's really only one thing that you can do. And one of the problems that I found when I was trying to play this card, because obviously I wanted to do a deck guide the week that it launched because I revealed the card, I was really excited about it, and I ended up having to cut Qcento out of the deck. So I'm thinking that this card deserves a 1 base power buff, because if you have it come down at 5 plus 1 is 6, and then you have your Vice triggers, I don't think it's going to get out of hand because Syndicate has so many other 4 provision bronze cards that it prefers to play. If we're looking at if we're looking at the builder here, you'd much rather play an Urchin, or you'd much rather play, better yet, a Disciple. Even Beggar, if you're playing Jackpot, would be more effective normally. It's almost even better to go Kikimor Warrior and just eat the boat every turn. You know what I mean? So a lot of stuff, a lot of good crimes, the Fistek Traffickers, and Pacifor Peach, right? Cards that are getting value immediately. I find Akarancha is one of those cards that only starts to get payoff once you're actually using the card. And it's vulnerable to lock. It's vulnerable to 4 and 5 power removal. And it just does not see play. Even if you take it out off Portal, it feels bad because you don't get the profit. So that's one of the ones that I want to see a power increase for. Another card that I was thinking of, because I did a deck guide this month, and I realized that where he's at right now, it doesn't feel great. And I'm not going to be sticking to one archetype specifically. I kind of want to move around to different areas with this and kind of address problems that I found personally, right? And if some people want to pool together and focus on maybe specific archetypes in general they want to buff, that's fine. But I genuinely like the way that the game plays right now, the place that it's in. So that's why they're going to be more all over the place, my picks. Second to that, I would say we're looking at Gezras, to be honest. Gezras was in my first copy of Movement, and I redid the deck guide, and I swapped out Gezras for Rune Mage, and I bumped up a 4 provision bronze to Johnny, and I felt like the combination of them was a safer, more consistent pick than Gezras, which is meant to be in Movement. And one of the main reasons why here is because it's not difficult to have 2 or 3 damage held on the board and then 4 to 5 points of removal in your hand. And you don't really get Gezra's value on the first turn. Sure, he comes down at 6 body. Maybe he goes back and boosts a row that's worth 4 points on that row. And maybe there's going to be a sentry on that row to boost him. But maybe there's not. So I think that going 7 base power wouldn't break the card. It would make it more competitive. It would help shift the meta. It still is prone to lock. It's still prone to removal. It is still prone to heat wave, all different types of stuff. But I think that it would be a good fit for here. And for any of these picks, guys, if you're watching, let me know what you think. You could argue it with me all you want. Like, maybe I'm missing something when it comes to these picks. So I'd like to hear your opinions as well. Again, a lot of this is just stemming from my own experiences this month. And if I'm being honest, I haven't found a third one yet. I'm looking. Give me a second. Gaunter. Well, we can't give him a shield. It's out of the question. We don't have that authority. Unless you're trying to hack the system, you know? I think he's good the way he's good the way. I don't think I'm looking at this as a base power buff. I'm thinking that this is more in the field of provision buff. We can get to that. It was actually one of the cards I was thinking of today. Consideration for Maddock, because he still feels power crept even with all of the extra support with the sappers. Maddock at 4 is kind of intriguing. Synthesis, I feel like, is one of those cards where it has immunity. It plays for 8 points, but it's very difficult to want to include this in a deck that you're playing dragons, which feels really weird because you want to include as many dragons as you can. It's just that 8 for 9 with immunity and no other real benefit is not that great. So this is one of those cards that I think is a little bit awkward because, like I said, even in the deck that calls for it, you don't want it. I just don't know if I want to spend my pick on that. But this has been bothering me for a long, long time. Really, this has been bothering me for some time now. Siri 9 for 9 could be a good way to rejuvenate Golden Necker, but there's not a lot of people that probably want to do that. No new mechanics because someone need to code it. Anybody know how to code? But these two are definitely candidates for that base power buff, honestly. I'm just looking here to see if there's anything else that I feel is important. A lot of these cards get value on deploy, like Kelpie, Dagger. These are fun, because thinning at 8, you're looking at 3 usually, 3 or 4, so that's actually fine. I'd argue that Pavko deserves a little bit of help too. But then if we get into boosting Pavko, then we're starting to look at boosting Rayla. Is it Rayla? Yeah, Black Rayla. Well, actually, she's already boosted. Pavko is kind of interesting. Pavko wants you to play Devotion, or as close to it as possible. There's an argument that a buff for Bounty might be boosting the base power by 1 for Caleb. It doesn't necessarily have to be a gold card that we buff either. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to go through this. Visigoda could be good too. I feel like we need to do something for Northern Realms because it feels like the least played faction outside of... really outside of Siege and all the different variants of Siege, right? I thought about Corvo for a while. Corvo at 4 I don't think would actually do much. That's the problem. Because Corvo at 4 is still kind of dead to most things, you know? I want to do something for an archetype besides Siege. I think that Siege is really good. Trollolols, so. I think you are right about the bronze. So one of the things that, okay, you're so fixated on Trident, but you know what that's going to mean for the game? That only is going to mean Shuffle Northern Realms is going to get played a little bit more. And the question is, do you really want to see it? I made some iced coffee, by the way. I got some cold brew, and I put it in here in a little stevia. And just a bit of half and half for sips, you know? Damn, so good. I want to focus on other stuff that Northern Realms has to offer. Like, back in the day, we had Northern Realms Swarm Payoff. Whether it be Witchers, whether it be Uprising with going wide with cows and boosts like that. It was kind of like the Northern Realms version of Arrakis. When I think of When I think of Gwent, those were like glory days, you know what I mean? Putting the cows down, putting all the stuff down, Scythemans go down. Revenants are perfect the way they are. Revenants at 4 power, 4 provision, best changes you can make. They were power crept for years. They finally brought them down to 5 to 4. They finally put them up to 4 power. If you touch them again, they're going to be the most busted things you've ever seen in your life. Now, I have a couple things that I like about Northern Realms that I think we should do about them. And one of them would be Carrick Frigate. 6 provision is expensive for something that's 4 and 1. That's easy 5p removal or a lock, and you're out 6 provisions, which... Tell me how that's fair when something like this is deploy. Right? Tell me how that's fair when something like this has no ceiling. The ceiling of this card is the row. You know what I mean? So, Frigate to me opens up the whole can of saying, Frigate. Frigate here. Drummer beside Frigate. Oh, Drummer, Trident, Frigate. Click, boost. You know what I mean? I want to bring that back, man. That was some good times. Now, I'll give you guys a little bit of a poll or say on this, because I do feel, and you guys expressed this when I posted Northern Realms about a week ago. Frigate, man. Frigate. Let me give you the other candidate first, because I already decided in my head. Reaver. No, I'm kidding. Give me a second. Yeah, that's some synergy magic. All right, I'm just gonna type it. Spoilers. Commandos. We can do a lot with this, man. There used to be a whole archetype dedicated to commandos, and once upon a time, this was brought to the biggest stage in the game. And now, you run into it sub 2400 pro. Like, if you dip down into the early 23s, you might see this. Tell me why we've got these cards here. And tell me why we got... I mean, there's so much that supports this, right? Look, Amphibious supports it. King Foltest supports it. Also, King Foltest supports Devotion. You can't really get away with playing Devotion right now unless you're playing Syndicate maybe, or Warriors, or you're playing, let's say, Frost. So, if we're going into, you know, doing all this Devotion stuff, King Foltest, you know, your Adalia, all your create and copy, and you know what I mean? Then Commando, a base power buff. A base power buff to 5. It's the whole damn deck. What about Dun Banner? Well, what about Dun Banner? Because normally when decks play commandos, they throw in Dun Banner as a backup. So you take your pick depending on the situation. If realistically though, Commando was the OG for that strat. I don't even know why they made Dun Banner, or if anything, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like 2 cards that do the same thing. One of them does it better, right? But either or, both of these are indirect buffs to one specific card that you guys all want to... I can't spell. Drog. Right? How do I move that little thing so I can read properly? Okay. There we go. But you know what I mean, guys? I'll give you guys a choice. Kind of being a soft way to say basically the exact same. Yeah. Do you guys want to buff the Frigate? Or do you guys want to buff the Commandos? I think Commandos... Think about it this way. In a perfect world, if all my changes come true, in a perfect world for me, yeah? Akarantia, plays with Syndicate. Syndicate pumps out amazing points. It's got all the busted stuff it currently has. That's cool. Then it's a competitive game. You're going up against Saskia with the movement package. Gezra's putting out tons of points. Who will win? Right? If you think commandos are scary and, you know, oh shoot, a whole row full of 5s. Okay, what happens when the Gezra slaps it? You see what I mean? It kind of feels like it could be balanced. And we're not doing too much. We're just telling you there's a couple more decks you could play next month. Commandos or Frigate? This time around, I think I'm going to choose Commandos. Why drop the 4P would be too strong. Because then people would put the package into Siege and they would just like have all these win conditions stuffed together. I think Commandos staying at 5, there's a cost of entry. You know? Nothing's free. So that's one that I think is really good. I think this is very diverse. And if these all took effect, I would be so happy. Can Frigate be dropped in Provision? It could be. It could be. It should be. It might be. Maybe we'll get there. That's up for debate. It's not off the menu. Decrease power. I already know the first one. I liked it when it was 3. Listen. People are going to give me a hard time about this one. Other ones are going to agree. It's a very split decision. It's a very big topic, right? I'm talking about Nausicaa Sergeant. And the reason why I think that this should go down to 3 base power is because the provisions seem fine. But a lot of times when people look at the value that this card is playing with, they're not factoring in the Assimilate procs. Dreddy, just for that, it's on the list, non-negotiable. Moving on. It's your fault, Dreddy. All the Nilfgaard players, they can have it with Dreddy. Look what you did. Good job. Nice. Cheers. It's 6 provisions. 6 provisions. It has Assimilate procs. It's an engine and a deploy at the same time, and people can make 5 copies of it. Listen, there's other ways to play the game. And that's what this is all about. The Balance Council is meant to introduce new ideas. How many people get tired of doing the same thing every single day? Right? You go to your job, you do the same thing every day. It's like, what do we have to look forward to, right? You got to switch it up. Something new to get excited about. If you don't like it this season at 3, then put it back to 4 next patch. At the end of the day, there are so many different Nilfgaard decks that people don't even touch. When's the last time you played Hyper Thin? Right? What about Colgrim? I'd much rather play against Colgrim than Soldier Spam right now. At least it's sort of doing something that we haven't seen in a bit. I can just delete it. I think there's a place. There's always a place for every faction. You know what I mean? Like that, I don't mind. But yeah. Nausicaa's getting it. Sorry. At least I'm not touching Brathens and all those cards. Just that one. Now, power decrease. This is debatable. I think this might have actually got a decrease already, though. Rainfarn. I think it's really one of those things where I would love to see different Nilfgaard stuff be played than just the same. Thoughts on Fearless Fearless? When I play Self Wound, it's not great. I would put this in the provision buff category, to be honest. And that might be a discussion. Because Self-Wound keeps getting dookied on, man. Power decrease. I mean, that's mostly good. I like all this right here. I would almost say Aileron decrease because she's so easy to get out of the deck, but I don't think there's really enough player base that's playing elves right now to really, you know what I mean? Whoops. All of this is pretty good so far. No one plays this. The Crones are fine. Boar's good. This is good. It's a good thing when I'm looking through these cards and I'm not having problems with them. Corvo? I don't think Corvo needs a power decrease. If anything, he needs an increase, but I think that there's... I think that it's almost... Corvo's in a spot where he either needs power plus like 2 or provision minus 1, and provision minus 1 is in the territory of if I get Corvo down behind a defender and you can't do anything about it, good luck. And that's why it's such a tricky card to balance. I'm not really having problems with these cards yet. Reaver is okay. Fuka... If Fuka got a power decrease, it would actually be a buff. Because you'd get more procs. And I think that's kind of interesting, because of all things, I put out a deck guide of Renfree Ogroids, and you would think that that deck calls for this card, and I honestly didn't even want to slot it in. Putting Fuka down to 3 base power means that we get proc to 5, proc to 7, proc to 9, proc to 11, opposed to 6, 8, 10, 12. Which is okay. That's not bad, because you start to plateau in around 10 points on things that you can slam down. Cyclops, I think, is fine the way it is. This doesn't really do anything. Not stressing about these or these. Fuka's there. Scapegoat would be a good power buff Torres. I think Fuka is a good consideration. Scapegoat is also another one. Scapegoat power buff would be almost like a buff to bounty, because you wouldn't have to reach for 2 in order to kill, because a lot of the times on leader reset for bounty leader, you only have the 1 damage in the pocket. Elderbear's OP at 6. So I'd be looking for Fuka as an indirect buff, or Scapegoat as an indirect buff. I find a lot of the base powers in the game are actually pretty good right now. Or we could just put both even. Buff Elderbear. We're talking about decrease here. So if buffing Elderbear would be in this category, right? Any Death Wish, it gets eaten anyways. You could always, another consideration too would be the Vernon Roach play. If I decrease this to 2, then this is another serious bit of help for Northern Realms. I mean, it would be played in Shuffle, it would be played in Commandos, it would be played in maybe even Shield Wall, and it would be thinning that is not Siege or Siege related. Because right now, a lot of the thinning stuff that Northern Realms has is in around Siege. So no matter what people are playing, even at a competitive level, people are throwing a Siege package. And what I mean by that is 2 Kara Ballistas, 2 Reinforced Ballistas, the 2 Thins. You know what I mean? There are more options like... the Purify Thins at 6 provision, but those are costly. I don't mind decreasing Vernon Roach to get more cards and more variety being played for the faction. It is random too, you know? It helps you get the cards that you missed off Temple, and Temple keeps getting nerfed as well. So I'm not opposed to that. And I feel like Fuka is fairly pressing. But I think that I honestly think I want to go the scapegoat route, because I was even having this conversation with someone the other day about a Tatterwing bounty deck, and it all seems very possible. It would set this to 1. I guess in this case, Tatterwing bounty would make the 2 a 1, which would make it like the way it is. So it would be a little bit of a nerf in that one instance. But for all other Syndicate, without Tatterwing, I think that this would be a buff. And even if it were in the Tatterwing deck that we're sort of theory crafting, it wouldn't really make a difference in a bad way either, you know? I'm just finding that it's a faction that just has its favorite cards, and they're so flexible in Syndicate that, you know, you'll just do whatever. But there are just some cards that are not being played, and this could be a good one. You think Vernon or the Thrive? I'm thinking the Fuka, honestly, because at 5p and no play, the thing is, if we decrease the Fuka in hopes to see more play, it has the higher ceiling. And it might see more play in even just a full-on Thrive deck. And for that reason, the location might see more play. Because if you proc this on the same turn you played, it's up to 4. And all you need is a 4 to proc it. So thinning packages would proc Thrive on Fuka. Fuka down, play the Riders, it procs it. Play Renfri's Gang, it procs it. Play something else, it procs it. Play the Cat, it procs it. Play the Leader, it procs it. You see what I mean? Alright. Provisions increase. $13. We leave it at 13. It stays at 13. Everyone's happy. Here's the rationale for those that just don't understand or those who disagree with me. Now we got to move the camera because obviously we're getting to this here. So, good call. Simlas is 13 provision. Could I only do one? I don't know. Simlas is 13 provision, 2 base power. You're sure not playing him for the base power. You're playing him for the ability to thin and the point swing. 13 provision. I don't think that 2 base power should separate 1 provision when you can put this card back in deck with a Sire at 7 provision, and then you could do it again with, I'm blanking. You know what I'm talking about. You could put her back with the second girl at, what, 8 provision now? So you're playing this card 3 times in a match. That's what I'm trying to say. Nilfgaard mains will, like, they'll complain about this so much. But when is the last time you've put Simlas back in a deck? You can't. Well, okay, you can with Decoy. That's, like, such a one-off. It's possible, but it's unlikely. You're not complaining. Good. You know why? Because Nilfgaard has so many other things to offer. Okay, like I was talking about earlier, we had Colgrim, we have Hyperthin, we have Status Nilfgaard. Surprisingly, with all the buffs to Ball, no one's playing Ball still. We have Maddock, Nilfgaard. Like, we've got tons of different things, you know? And all I run into is either Double Cross or Soldiers. Or Soldiers with Renfri. But now that's not even a thing, because Battle Stations is actually... If Battle Stations took Renfri Soldiers out of the meta, then that should say something, right? Remember when we could play Renfri twice? Provision buff, or decrease. +1, 13, done. Let's see. You missed Knights? You're talking about Northern Realms Knights? This is all fine. This is tamed a bit. This is fine. This is sad. problematic cards this patch. There aren't as many as you'd think. It's probably going to be a bronze. This is in that territory where it might actually be considered a nerf. Warlord nerf, Alula buff. Provision increase. It's just like in this range, a lot of cards are not really playing for their points anyways. You know what I mean? Is there anything at 4 that's just really good? I'd almost argue that volunteers are kind of nice, like too nice. Because I feel like dwarves overall are in a very good place. Renfrey Scoia'tael is one of the most busted things I've played in a while. So these at 4 is kind of in that area, you know what I mean? Brawler? What you think Syndicate Brawler should be, but it's contingent on you having money. I don't think that these necessarily need to be 4. And that's going based off of a Scoia'tael main. There's no faction I enjoy playing more, but I think that this card might be too cheap. What about, I'm talking about volunteers. You're talking about brawlers. You think that brawler's too inexpensive? The problem is that this actually hurts Syndicate quite a bit if you were to do that, because then you don't get the plunder roll anymore. Aridin, I'm touching it. I'm literally nerfing Nausicaa, and it's all Dreddy's fault. Here's the thing, is that they should just nerf Nausicaa, leave it at 3, and call it a day and stop thinking about it. There are more important things to spend voices on. Well, you can't really tell me how important my opinion is, man. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm entitled to my own opinion. If this is how I feel about it, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. But anyways, that's how I feel about it. So, this is my first time choosing in Balance Council. I got to do it the way that I feel is important. Provision nerf? This is all fine, I think. Let's look at the 5s. Are there any 5s that are screaming 6? This one. Thirsty Dame. I mean, in light of all the changes that they had that support, I feel like that's reasonable. Warlords. The problem is that Warlords always are very slow in around 1, and then they put you in a position where you're likely going to lose on even, then have to defend a bleed. And if you get into around 3, then you're in a really good spot. So, yen pull. Half the time with the yen pull, you're pulling a card you don't even want to play later, or you're using it at the end of the game. So, I feel like yen is a faction-specific advantage that Nilfgaard gets, but then again, there are other removal options in different factions. Let's say Syndicates, Marils, that do the same thing. Brayan for Qcento, that would essentially do the same thing. Not all the time do you want to replay that card that you take. Warlords define the archetype in a really unfun way. I don't disagree with you. I used to play so much Warriors that it's not even funny. And I feel like the only direction you can take Warriors right now is to go with Warriors when you're playing a bunch of raids. And it wasn't always about that. It was about actually trying to play war. Like, you know what? I'm not against it. Because I remember back in the day, some of my favorite times in Gwent, I just felt like you were playing Herald and you know, you were doing all that. Now there's not even like room to play it, or you don't even care about playing Herald because you're just trying to play raids. Alula up to 7. I've already decided how I'm going about my increases. I played against a lot of Warriors this patch that are so dependent on raids that only use PF. It would be nice to see more Warriors that play in around playing Warriors and playing even the whole discard and resurrection thing with Warriors. Like the Herald, Alula support. There could be so much more to do. Hybrids of Warriors and boats. What's the worst that can happen? I think putting this at 6 might help Skellige find new ways to do it. I'm not against it. And if it doesn't go well, next month we have different options. And it's just one voice here. Maybe it won't even get... Maybe none of these will get picked. So, this is what we got. Decrease provisions by 1. I don't know how this one would go. I would like to maybe see Draug at 12. It was something I was thinking about for a little bit. Draug at 12. The reason why is because, obviously, I just don't know if that's too much for Northern Realms in one sitting. But NR going cursed, because NR has an unplayable archetype almost, being the whole cursed archetype. They tried to do a lot in late Gwent before sunset to try to make cursed good, and it just wasn't. So that's an option. This would actually go very well with commandos, and it would go very well with anything that wants to swarm, like PFI swarm, all different types of stuff. So there's that. You're talking about botchling. Did I spell it wrong? It's probably botch, like with a B-O-T. Yeah. It's at 7. 6 wouldn't be terrible. 6 actually wouldn't be terrible. But 6, it's such a weird card in the way that it's a 1 point per turn. 6 at botchling, though, would probably want you to play it more. You know? Botchling is a very flex card. It could be good in anything. In control and in boost. You think Helvete at 9p would open up a buff? Helvete at 9p would be pretty good. I think Torres is fine the way he is. It's just that you see these archetype defining cards all at 13s and then other ones at 14s. It almost feels like, you know, we're good here. I don't think Drog with a base power buff would do much. And I just don't know how much of an impact he'd have on a provision buff. But there are a couple cards that I think, like off the top of my head, that I think deserve provision buffs. One of which is Sea Serpent. Because this card is extremely conditional. Deploy, boost self by 0 and damage an enemy unit by 3. Increase the boost by 1 for each opponent turn in which Rain or Storm is triggered this round. So, this card on deploy will play for, let's say, 4. And then you get the extra point for the condition that it has. Now, the problem is, I've been working on a Rain deck, you know, spoiler, and that's one of the ones that I was going to post soon. And as much as I wanted to try to put this card in the deck, I couldn't justify it. There are just so many good cards for Skellige in around 5 provisions that you'd sooner rather have than this one here, whether it be more Rain stuff, whether it be a Freya's Blessing to take back one of the Rain engines. That's kind of where I'm at. Bolmar's on that list too. You only use it to kill Kraken, but you're almost safe for putting a Gutting Slash at 4 provision. You see what I mean? You only want to play this card in Rain. You don't want to play it in a regular Beast deck. It's a one-trick pony. And it's not even doing that one trick properly. That's why it's on the spot. I don't need to change every gold card in the game. They're just a couple ones based on my experience that I think would be really sweet. And you know what? Folmar is another option that I actually agree with. This card needs to be 11. Is there a way to save this without submitting it or no? Maybe I don't show you the deck yet. But this card, there's so many cards in the Skellige top end for Rain that you want to play. Kraken, Fukusha, Melusine, some kind of revive, some kind of consistency card, some kind of tall punish because you need to. I'm not doing all that. I'm just gonna, I'll finish this and I'll show you the deck after maybe. But this card is just like, although, yeah, it looks really good, It's very slow, and it's easy to remove. One base power wouldn't be really that effective for it because it's just a matter of, like, even if you can click it, you still have to get the payoff from it. I feel like this, even though Gezris is more in the direction of base power buff, I feel like Falmar is more in the direction of provision buff. 12 provision. You play it in one type of deck only. If it got a provision buff, there could be some consideration to put a rain package in alchemy, which would be healthy. Because then you're not just playing the cards in one case, there's maybe two options. Veil, we can't do that. So we gotta settle for a provision buff. And lastly, I'm not against the Drog yet. That's not out of the equation. There's another one that I was thinking of that really doesn't do much for me. This feels like it should have been a 4. Because, like I said, some of the things that I want to work on is giving Mahakam volunteers because they're too good. Because Skellige or Scoia'tael Dwarves are some of the best cards in Scoia'tael. So you can put the Dwarves package in any control list, any Renfrey deck, anything really. Like Chariots, Skirmishers, Berserkers, like you want these cards. And then why would you have the cheap thinning at 4 when Scoia'tael's got Saskia, they have Simlas, they've got, you know, all types of stuff. Sentinels. You should know that there is a movement to buff Botchling down to 6. Yeah, that was something that we talked about. The Botchling. And I'm actually not against it. So Magpie could wait. But Magpie, it's just, it's a weird card. You're playing 3 + 2 is 5. And then all you're doing is making sure that your coin doesn't get wasted. So this is not a jackpot friendly card. This is a line pockets. This is a vice spend down kind of card. You feel like the Sea Serpent's unsalvageable? I think at 4, I'd be willing to give it a try. I don't think you necessarily need to play 2, but having the 1 at 4 could be a very good payoff card. And I think that at 4p, if people can get 1 to work, they're going to start thinking about, okay, how can we get a second one to work? I feel like Magpie's in the same category as Sea Serpent in the way that they're both not great. But Botchling is a tough one. And if you guys think that Botchling might actually go through, I keep spelling this card wrong. You see, I don't even spell it properly. I played The Witcher 3. I played Gwent for years, and it's like how often I look for this card. It's just not. 3 damage on 4p is good. Exactly. Yeah. So on deploy, it's playing like a skirmisher at that rate, plus a little extra. In fact, think about it that way. Skirmisher for Scoia'tael plays 3 deploy, 1 base power, or order 3. Sea Serpent at 4p would be the same, if not a little bit more incentive. But it's round dependent, and you're probably getting some spillover damage. Botchling at 6 provision. Botchling at 6 provision is going to support going wide with Uprising. It's going to support any sort of cursed stuff, because we have the cursed archetype in here. We have the damage, if you want to go the crazy damage route, right? We've got both, right? It's very flexible. At 6, and obviously that it's a gold, you can only play 1 copy. To me, that looks really good. Who was pushing Botchling? Honestly, I feel like we all were deep down. So it's 6 per turn in that deck. Six per turn in that deck. That could be a problem, though. That's just one card that goes very tall. But it relies on devotion to get the immunity. Honestly, I think it's still fair game. Because, look, you're playing devotion to make sure of it, but you could be playing against someone else who has a Curse of Corruption, Scorch, Igni. They kill your lowest thing, Pred Dive. As it stands right now, I've yet to play against Cursed the entire season on maybe 150 game sample size. Exactly. So you would get really sick value in that one instance, but other than that, it'd be humble. I think Botchling would play for around 10 to 12 points in other decks. If there's maybe... And Botchling is another buff to the whole Frigate assembly line indirectly, because in starter decks I've played stuff like that. It's been great. Tridems, just another way to get pings down. If we can only choose 12 cards to change right now, based on the last hour that we sat here and talked about it, I feel pretty confident with these choices. What do you think? Not everyone's going to be happy with what I think. But does it make sense? Can we just keep Nausicaa at 3 and just leave it alone? See, I have a flex pick here. I did one buff to Northern Realms and 2 buffs to Northern Realms. I could do 3. I don't think Anna needs a provision buff. I think she needs a power buff to 5. We go Botchling or we go Draug. Again, it's my vote. Like, I don't know if... it's not like half the people here are sitting copying this, right? Everyone's going to do what they want to do at the end of the day. Only nerfs to NG? Yeah. 2 small nerfs that open up opportunity for other archetypes to shine through. I nerfed my favorite faction. I nerfed my second favorite faction. So, all is fair. Let's get the Botchling to go through. And next time, I think this is going to be back on the menu. Because I would love to see more Cursed play. Yeah, which is why I'm not making completely stupid choices. Like, I think that they all have merit, right? We got to keep it fair and fun. But there are a few things. I want Vice to pull through a little bit stronger. I want Movement to go through stronger. I want Commandos to go through stronger. I want other types of Nilfgaard besides just tempo dumping soldiers to go through and be played more. I want to see more. Like, this is a support for Shuffle. This is support for everything Northern Realms because they keep getting it bad. A little bit of nerf to Scoia'tael because obviously Scoia'tael is in a very good place. And a little support for Rain because no one will touch Rain. Sure, yeah, but we got to stand for what we think is right. So, without further ado, guys, we're submitting this. I think we're good to go, and I want to get into playing some games today. Sheesh, votes are in, baby. Now what? What, it just stays like that? Alula. It's okay. Alula is really good in Golden Necker. You got to remember that. In Golden Necker, she's great. In Devotion Warriors with Herald, she's really good. Look, I voted for an indirect buff to Alula when I did the nerf to Highland Warlord. Okay? Because she is, whenever an enemy unit takes damage from your warriors, damaged by one ignoring its armor. This is from raids. So if we put less focus on the raids, then the faction is going to have to adapt to put more focus on the warriors. If I exit this and I go back in, is it going to hold it? Okay, good. All right, we're gonna get in some games here. I'm just gonna use the restroom real quick. Let me know in the comments or chat what you want. What do you want me to play? I got a few decks. Like I'm playing anything that I've played this season so far. We got a day left in the season. It's a long day at work for me today, and I just want to jam some games after. So, of what I played, let me know. I'll be right back with you guys. And yeah, no new decks today. Just the ones that you see on the screen here. Pick one that you want to see. Crash is it's soldiers, yeah. Boring deck names. I'm very just literal about when I title things and when I name things. I get to the point, and I keep it simple. I caps lock it because it looks more aesthetic to me. It's a fucking name of a deck. You know, I save all the juice for the title on the video. Now, yeah, this is just my double battle stations decoy tempo dump. Kelly, Renfrey Ogroids. We got Siege, Revs, Hybrid. I've got Movement with Johnny, which is my most favorite one that I've done. Renfrey Strike, Dragons. This one was very fun. I just posted a guide on this one here. I can't show this one right now. It's a secret. And, yeah. What are we gonna play? I could play here. I could do like 2 games of Kelly, because I gotta finish placements for monsters to bump myself over 96. And, we'll see how much longer after that I want to go. Rage to See, I gotta record that gameplay tonight, so I'm gonna do that when the camera's off, and Movement ST. Okay. I got time for a few. This week I've been just actually overwhelmed with work and stuff, and I've been super busy, and when I get home, I haven't really been feeling like doing a whole lot. Like, And I've been suffering because when it's time to go to work the next day, I don't have like all the food made for the day and stuff like that. It's like, you know, so I got to get some of that stuff done tonight so I can get through the second half of the week feeling pretty good. Today was my grandma's 90th birthday party. I took a little bit of time off work and went and did that. 90. It's funny because my grandma's 90. She picks up the phone. Her friend called her. Her friend's 104. So I might live forever. Because my family gets old, man. But yeah, it was a really good turnout. There was like 20 people there. It was a lot of fun. It was around lunchtime today. We start with Saskia always.
Let's hurry. The Bushwhackers depends.
Yeah, her name's Mary. Bro, they had like sandwiches all over the place. They had. Why am I playing against this? I wish I didn't post the deck guide, bro. Why? Then we gotta get 3 hits. Oh my gosh. Listen, I like posting decks and everything. I just hate posting against the ones that I... The only way I can get this to work is if I go wide enough with, let's say, Rune Mage that maybe all 3 miss. So annoying. So annoying. Can we go wider? Nah. Okay, she's dead. She's dead. It's over. It's too bad. That's great. It's my fault. This one isn't, what's his name's fault? Forgot his name. It's not that guy's fault. It's my fault. Oh, bro, card for card so far. I want to lock everything. This is a good lock, but it's not. You know, it's also just like... Let's just like take the L and even, I guess. Just move on with our life. Because Akvis playing for 1's not that scary. I wonder if it's too late for us.
Style. That's right. I like fighting with style.
This deck looks kind of familiar. Jeez, I wonder who came up with this stupid deck. Holy. If I go deep, there's a chance we get it back. This coming patch, I have a lot of things I want to revisit. Did I tell you guys at all in the first 10 minutes of that video that I want you to like push and win on even by any means necessary and spend all your cards, everything? Did I say that? I might have. And just like that, we're shut out. And then they go for the 2-0 with Renfrey. Renfrey's gang. All right. It's not bad. It's better. We're gonna do Johnny opener here, I think. 7. It's gotta be Johnny boost, unfortunately.
You're Winston
See, they make me spend leader charges when I don't want to. Johnny at 10's good unless they're holding Ike, which then it's terrible. But see what I'm talking about? Inexpensive. Nice. Good shots. He's one shot. I cracked him. So we got to get this chip down, maybe with the second one. I'm trying to get the most value possible off Johnny, you know?
Sharpen the boat, boys.
This is too good to be true, isn't it? 14, 18, 19, 20, 21. It doesn't... We actually go down a card. I think I'm going to take it down a card and try to get it back next card because I really don't want to play in. They're going to get damage, I'm sure.
The only good mage is a dead mage.
Damage unit by 6, death blow adjacent. So boosting it wouldn't really help. After using boost lowest... Gonna have to open this up here. They're probably sitting 2 cards on me right now. Yeah. We could lock that. They might have the Peller in hand.
The elves have our paths. Don't worry about me.
Second Saskia.
I kneel before no one.
Racists.
I have to sink every point that we can for damage. They have a lot of armor too, which is pretty annoying. I missed my lock. I'm just getting cheesed at my own creation here. I thought we had one more turn on that lock, unfortunately. I lose my 10.
The realm of the living severs your chain, abandoned now.
So they kept the Peller anyways, it didn't matter. It would have went off.
Too slow.
It's the same deck except they took out
Possibly have survived.
probably one of the Bowmans and put a Scholar. The reason why I don't have Scholar is because it's anti-synergistic with Villain. Right? If I didn't have a 10, they would have had a problem with the Villain play. I get no payoff from all the movement. If I had one of the sentries out there, it would have helped.
A golden dragon.
So we lose by about 18 points if we hit. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oxford, I think... Yeah. I think that, like I said, Scholar is anti-synergistic for that archetype. It doesn't make sense in the deck that you go tall with your dragons and they have conditions other than your tall dragons. I could see the polarizing thing, but... So if you haven't seen that video, you want to play that deck, my version of that deck, is my last video I posted. Yeah, me too. Doing what I can. I've been talking to a couple game devs, and I've been working on some things. So I'm trying to get a couple keys of games that I have like early access to give me a bit of a jump on some other people, so I can start to like make a name for myself. So I've been almost like doing cold calls to game developers. I've done a few of those over the last couple weeks, and yeah, because it's all about, as a creator, it's about who got there first, like 80% of the time, right? Obviously you have to be decent at what you do and stuff like that, but you know, there's a lot of like a race to it, and I'm not winning those races at all. I hear about things when they've been out for a couple weeks, so I'm trying to be more proactive with that. This hand's pretty good. It's pretty gold though. So. Fruits. Yeah, taking initiative. I also, I've been taking more initiative on brand deals, and sending a couple emails myself. Usually I just wait for the things to come in, you know, and invite themselves to me. But I got a couple deals that I'm working on for that, you know, just little things. So it's all about keeping it rolling, you know. And I'm hoping that with maybe getting 1 or 2 early access titles and a couple videos that might get more views than regular and a couple extra brand deals coming in, it keeps the dream going in my head, you know. I'm not opposed to playing room mage here, but I kind of want to get down something here. Whatever I play out of these two is what we won't thin. That's the problem. I could go Johnny, but we're not really doing a lot for Johnny either. Here, let's go for a different, other than the tags that we have. I'm sure I can find... You know what? It's too good to pass up.
Are you fucking kidding me? Catnip instead of crowns?
Larva comes down. Yizgith's in a pretty good place right now. You know, one of the things we didn't even touch on in our discussion for the Balance Council was leader abilities, but I feel like most of those are pretty good right now anyways. The provisions for the leaders, yeah? Let's see what we get here. Nice. Here. I'm gonna thin out a matron and try to tempo pass on this. Hey, how you doing? Welcome in, guys. They caught me on that. Lesser provision buffs. Congregation's already 16, isn't it? Which is very good. I'm not doing nearly as much as I want to. Just so you know. But yeah. Am I going to play next? Reach pro rank? You mean when the season restarts, what am I going to play? I'm going to have to look at what changes took effect first. and then I'll decide.
Good grief! You're worse than children.
I don't think Syndicate needs provision buffs to their leaders. I think that they need provision buffs to their less performing archetypes. Firesworn could see some love. That hurts quite a bit right there. But do you have a second one?
Illusion. You've yet to see
This is all
something
testing whether or not we want to play this or not, you know? If they have control for that, we pass. Buff the I know, but they're. I feel like it starts with the cards. It ends with the leader. Because you don't want people just throwing a bunch of mid-range stuff with that leader because it plays for more provisions. We've seen this in the past. Kind of like how Double Cross used to be 17. People were playing it just because it was so much. They weren't even playing cards that had anything to do with the faction. Or the archetype, rather. So Erendite's a thing. At 5. And counting. So we back out. Yeah. Congregate's actually huge risk for mid-range. Because you would just jam leader down, take horse and senior tributes, and then just start playing a bunch of like cards that are notoriously strong in around that, which a lot of them are crimes. You take the crimes, you play the cop stuff, you could do it all again. It's about the bodies too that it makes, and yeah. If I was to buff one of the Syndicate leader abilities, I'd probably buff Pirate's Cove. Because Pirate's Cove... This is good. Pirate's Cove doesn't generate coin, really. It's like... It's not like that crazy, you know? But I don't know. It is bodies. It's just the weird thing about them is that it feels weird being able to click and then not having like really a lot to spend. Okay, I don't really care about that. Let's see. I guess we just start off with this guy.
I prefer elves.
What are the odds they kill him? They are playing control stuff. Mamuna coming down for the Griffins, not terrible for me. It gives me more time to set up what we gotta do here.
First, you must learn to fletch.
Come on, come on, come on, Exodia, let's go.
Shoot through.
At some point, they're gonna want to use Erendite. I think I'm gonna have to go in for a sentry. First. Because point slam against engines in a long round 3 is much better for me, even though they're up by like 20 points. Yeah, basically. Eskel. That hurts. Here. They have so many points for Point Slam as far as control points. Surely they take arrow off of... I feel like I'm supposed to do something about it, but Arendite's going to kill whatever it targets right now anyways. Yeah, at 11. Okay. You know, if I can go in and get some engines off this, if I can get 2... we're not going to be able to pull the full thing off here. Not even 1. I guess it's going to be this. That's really not the role I was hoping for, but... let's get this and this online and just keep moving them. So Dow at 2 will kill the cat.
Yeah, I work for the poor. Better than working for humans.
And then we get the Treant board down at Adrenaline. And then we can take Season. Not having a sentry is really bad. They have Heat Wave now. Heat Wave, Eskel, Frenzy, Arendite. That's got to be it, right? It's closer than it looks. Have you had the time to finish the season pass of the finals? No, I didn't. I actually... light or medium was like the surefire meta, and I felt like everyone I was playing with wanted to run medium, and there was not like really fun strat. And if one of us ever tried to play light, they'd just get rinsed. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like all the friends I played with kind of just didn't feel like playing. I've been playing more Apex. Right now, the new season just started. I'm back to Plat in a sec. I'm like a few games back from Plat. I'm G1.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
Yeah, man, we'd have such a difference if we had, this is probably the best lock I'm gonna get, really. If I had a sentry here, it would just be like GG's. I think we still win, though. Honestly, I would get back into the finals. I had a good time playing it. The socialites. I'm stressing for no reason. All that control can't stop the boy. Can't stop me. Let's go. Yeah, not even close, bro. Not even close. Random clicks that do nothing. Ah! Okay. Warzone 3, I've actually been playing a little bit too. In all seriousness, though, you guys are more than welcome to add me on platforms. Listen, I'm gonna regret this, but I think you guys are cool. I think all you guys. I don't think anybody's gonna be weird. My Steam is reserved for mainly my personal friends, and I don't usually add anybody. But it's not because I'm too good for anybody either. So I can plug my Steam here, but only add me on Steam if you actually want to play something. Don't just add me on Steam when I give you my friend invite, just to have me on Steam. You can just join the Discord or just add me on GOG for that reason. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody wants to play games, comb through the library that I have. If there's a game that you think I would like to play, let me know, and we can run. I have other friends that love playing FPS games, but we always need a third that is... And whenever we random queue, they're dog shit. And so it's actually, like, not fun. You know, so if you guys run Apex, you want to play maybe Helldivers, you want to play the finals, you want to play any of that type of stuff, I'm more than happy to play with you guys. It's just, yeah. Usually when I have people on Steam and I don't chat with them for a while, I don't usually keep them on Steam. So just I'll log in here. I'll give you guys my Steam code. Send me a little message. We'll run it. I usually play mostly on weekends. Whoops. Friend game has been canceled. I missed that. Just gonna open a couple packs. Camelist TV, thanks for stopping by. If you're heading out, have a great night. I think I'm gonna play... I might play just another game and wrap things up. Like I said, I have a lot of things I want to do, and one of those things I want to do is get that video taken care of, so I have an upload for tomorrow. Am I still accepting decks on Discord? Well, we're going to close the poll, and I'm going to try to cover everything that's been done. That's on the agenda for later this week. And if Balance Council impacts any of the decks, you guys are, you guys know that you can just change a card or two. But we're definitely going to show them off. Definitely priority. I just have the deck guide started. I got to get an upload ready because it's going on 2 days. And I would like to finish that tonight. It's 8 p.m. right now. I got to get off the computer by 10. I can't stay up longer than that. I slept so terribly last night. Today was a rough one. All right. Listen, if I do one viewer game, don't look at my screen. We'll end it with a viewer game, okay? I'll send in one I cooked yesterday. Then that's the absolute last submission. But don't be afraid to still submit your decks, guys, you know? At the end of the day, that channel on the Discord server is for everyone to sort of communicate what they've come up with and to show it off. And this guy's playing PS with, I swear to God, if I see the first card, I'm leaving. This is starting to look like my Dragons deck. I'm going to make a video talking about it. Yeah, but there's obviously not going to be enough time to play them all. But it's just a matter of, here they are, and maybe I'll post the links so that if anybody wants to access them, I might make a spreadsheet of them as well so that you guys can go in and look at that anytime you want. I'm trying to decide how to get that out there quick and easy and digestible, you know? This guy's I swear you're playing dragons. I'm gonna teach him a lesson. I have an idea. 5-head idea. Yeah.
Can dwarves fight?
All right.
The fish pissing lakes.
I got big plans for this game. I'm not gonna say them out loud just in case homie hasn't muted the stream, but when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Ooh, that defender's putting in work. I wouldn't mind playing Kelly with Nith rolling around, and then this is the big trio that comes back. Dragon gets beat by the ultimate dragon. You can't make this up, guys. Damn. Well, there goes dominance. My game's frozen on my stream. It does this sometimes. On Streamlabs, it's moving fine, but my actual app... There we go. You burn a 2, we burn a 4. Yeah, Kelly's the best girl. I might actually do... I'm tired of being roasted for it, and I'm tired of the imperfection. I might actually do Thronebreaker 2024 playthrough. Let's get some ones in the chat if you would watch that. Or do you think it would be kind of a bore, or maybe not the best use of time for the channel? Because I'm missing some premiums that I'd like to go re-get, but I've completely forgotten how to play the game by now. Okay, there's 1-1. 2's for don't do it, it's a waste of time. We burn 4, they do 3, we burn 4. As a Gwent player, Thronebreaker wasn't fun. Well, before I was any good at Gwent, I played Thronebreaker because I was getting wrecked in Gwent. And so then I switched over to Thronebreaker, and I called it like a tutorial for myself. Because it's a much different world than Yu-Gi-Oh!, I'm telling you. So I probably have like 80 hours in that game once upon a time, but it's been like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, most people started with Gwent and went Thronebreaker. One game you probably can't get me to get would be Rogue Mage. It just wasn't that great, but it's not completely off the table either. I just think it was unfinished. 22. I would like to burn this. Just in case I don't, let's turn it off. The best part about TV is the story and dialogue. How do you... here's a question for you guys, and oh, that hurts. That hurts a lot. Damn. The fact that he wasn't able to break that is really unfortunate. The death blow?
Is a dead mage.
This is like an honest question so I can improve the way that I do things. So feedback would be greatly appreciated. If you watch someone play an RPG or a story game, what do you expect from them when they're playing it? Are you expecting them to read the dialogue? Are you expecting them to... like... It just, to me, that part hasn't come really naturally, because when I play story games, I like to just shut up and play them, right? But from a viewer's perspective, since I don't digest a lot of that content myself, I haven't really thought about it. This just once, round 1 by any means. Double leader used in round 1. Audiobooks, the thing is, like, I've got a bit of that voice going on, you know what I mean? I could use that to my advantage. I just haven't really thought of how I could do that. It's unfortunate that we can't continue this round. What have I been playing lately? I've been playing, I said Apex. I've been playing Sea of Stars. If you guys haven't seen that game, it's like a 16-bit pixel RPG. Brilliant looking. Music's great. It's like a party building, party RPG kind of thing. It's been interesting. I'm like maybe a third way through it. I've been watching some shows as well. I watched like some anime here and there, you know. I know there's a new Demon Slayer movie. I kind of want to get around to watching that. But I'm watching Bungo Stray Dogs. I started it. But lately I haven't really been feel like watching a whole lot of TV. This plays for a lot of points. To watch one episode of Esso playing Deliverance Kingdom Come. Just gonna write that down, okay? The whole objective is not to, it's not to act like or be someone I'm not. It's just to understand how to, like, the delivery that you kind of need to do these things. You know what I mean? Like, what's the best approach? I don't really want to crank a leader on that. So you said his name is, Hey, you gonna watch it at work? Sure thing, gonna be live. I'll have it published in the live stream section as soon as we're done here today. So his name's Esso. Yeah. Yeah, Thronebreaker's like, I would say they do a very good job of all that already. Damn. They're really pushing for that 2-0. We're not gonna get it high enough. This is bullshit, bro. Here's the problem, is that you challenge me to a friendly game when you're watching my stream, and then you play the deck that I posted in my last video, and then I have this strong feeling like you pushed because my hand was full of shit cards, and then you have the perfect counters available. I'm not having a good time. That's why I don't like doing friendly games when I'm on stream. It doesn't feel right to me. Anyways, shit. It's just like living proof. That's the second time today I played against my deck. But anyways, I'm probably gonna call it here, guys. It's been a good time. GG to whoever I just played, but seriously, man. I got my balance council votes in. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I'll show you real quick what we were up to. And if you want to look at the entire discussion, it's going to be for the first hour and 7 minutes, roughly, hour 10 minutes of the video, where I go over everything here. So once you get off stream, can we fight? Probably not. I have to record a deck guide, and I'm going to try to get that started tonight. And yeah, but soon, sometime soon. If you see me online, I'm not streaming, send me an invite, and if I'm free, I'll take it. If I'm not, I tend to message you back and say yes or no, or plan a time. You know, that works 100%. Yeah. It's just, it's very difficult to have a good time doing viewer games when I feel like you just never know. Some people, they just want to make it their objective to like either troll you or just say like, look, I clapped you, you know. I just feel like there's never a possible way to get like an honest, fair game when you play against viewers online, when you're streaming. Understood. Nothing against you guys though, you know. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to post this in the live stream section. If you came in late, you wanted to watch it up later, I have I said a video that I'm going to be doing Skellige that we're going to be looking at, and then when the balance changes get published, I'm going to be talking about that. I might just make a live video talking about that. And then what else we got? In the Discord, you guys sent your decks over to last week. I'm going to be talking about that as well. Make a video dedicated to what you guys have been doing, what you guys have been up to. And guys, we're pushing 15K subs on the channel, man. I've been at this for 3 years, almost 4 years. Since 2020, I've been making content. You know, I've taken my little breaks here and there, but it's been 4 years in the making. If we can hit 15K, I'll think about some kind of giveaway that we can do, man. You know, if we can hit that, man, it would be so sick if I woke up on March 1st, you know, the spring air with the 15K. My goal is to one day get that plaque on the wall so I could flex it right behind me somewhere. Instead, I just have a pair of shoes. You see? But we want that plaque in the corner. And, you know, it all starts with 15K, all right? So if you guys haven't subbed to the channel already, about 35% of you guys haven't subbed that watch me regularly, make sure you just do what you got to do, man. It changed my life. But that's pretty much it, guys. I appreciate everyone sticking around with me and being patient during my break, and I'm glad you guys are all back at it. I'm glad that we're all having a good time playing Gwent, and you guys have a lot of positive feedback for the channel and everything that I'm doing here. So, you know, I read everything. I read all the comments, man. You know? So if you guys want to touch base with me outside of the stream, I posted my Steam link. You can add me on Steam if it's still valid here. Add me on Steam, we'll play something. If we have some games in common that we like, you can add me on Discord. You can join the server to the Discord. Links in the bio. We have like 800 people just like you in the server that love talking about Gwent all the time. So, you know, there's always a place for you there. And yeah, man, any suggestions, recommendations as well, send me a DM, an email. I'm always there to chat, you know. Don't be a stranger. All right, guys, I'm sure you're up to a lot of great stuff in your lives too, keeping busy. Just be proud of yourself, man. Sometimes you got to take a second and just kind of think about what you're doing and, you know, just, wow, look back at it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, don't be hard on yourself, man. I'm trying not to be too hard on myself. You just got to keep going, keep up the grind. And I'll see you guys soon, all right? Have a good night. Have a good morning to some of you guys. It's been a pleasure hanging out. Yeah, see you soon.